lives one day at a time. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. They're here to get your day going fine. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. Kimmy Kim and Elations Radio. And here's your host, Miss Kim Robinson.
Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. The old man's dead, he's passed on. Let's have a moment of silence to sing a sad song. Hope it don't last long, cause I gotta run. Got a meeting with the Father, Spirit, and the Son. Got work to be done, working for the kingdom. Man, I used to be dumb till I met Jesus. Now I stomp demons, kicking out their teeth. Preaching freedom to people on the street with a Kim to beat. Rhymes unique, put it together like a Dunkin' hot cake is sweet. So, taste to see that the Lord is good. Happy is the man who trusts him like he should. If you're up to no good, get saved. Without Jesus, man, it's just flame. And the Lord will change you from the inside. And the next thing you know, that old man has died. See, the old man now has died. And inside the Lord I hide. Underneath his mighty wing. Hallelujah, joy he brings. I got peace within my soul. Overwhelmed, I lose control. I just got to give him praise. Cause I know my debt's been paid. The old man's dead, laid to rest. I got shot with the word of God straight in my chest. And it pierced my flesh, sank to my heart. Now I'm a brand new man, I got a new start. I'm pushing for the mark, I'm set, ready to go. I'm running full speed and I'm about to blow like a time bomb, but I can't stay calm. Cause I got a fire burning in me like napalm. Used to be way gone, hooked on drugs. Now I just pray long, I'm hooked on love. It come from up above, you can have it too. Believe and receive, that's all you gotta do. The Lord standing at the door, don't you hear him knock? Waiting for you patiently to open up the lock. When you finally do and he walks inside, with just a little talk, that old man has died. See, the old man now has died. And inside the Lord I hide. Underneath his mighty wing. Hallelujah, joy he brings. I got peace within my soul. Overwhelmed, I lose control. I just got to give him praise. Cause I know my debt's been paid. The old man's dead, it's 6 feet deep. And I'm covered in blood from the top of my head to the soles of my feet. But the blood's unique. It's the only blood to make your life complete. It's good for the hood, good for the heel. It will deliver, set free, and heal. And the blood that was spilled to heal your heart was the precious blood of the Son of God. On the cross for you he died, so inside him you could hide. Underneath his mighty wing, hallelujah, angels sing. The one true God who can save your soul. You got to give him full control. The only way you can be saved. Bow your knees and call his name. Yo, Tim, run that back. On the cross for you he died, so inside him you could hide. Underneath his mighty wing, hallelujah, angels sing. The one true God who can save your soul. You got to give him full control. The only way you can be saved. Bow your knees and call his name.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Charles's Corner. This is Charles McCutchen, your favorite entrepreneur, and today another promoting this thing. So today it's about to start. It's going down, and I have a guest speaker that's going to be coming on here in a second. So this Monday call, we're on this call, and it's all about finance, business, real estate planning, budgeting, wealth management. And today we're doing something a little special, and this is one that I know a lot of people, they need to really look at, and this is about funding your business. Now, I'm going to go over this one thing, and it's the rule of 72. And I look at it as the cost of money and how we're actually losing money. And so I look at how much is your money costing you, and if you take the interest rate that your money's making, and you take it and you look at just turning $1 into $2. An example I give people is this: you can take a 12% rate of return and you divide it by 72, and the goal is, as far as the rule of 72, is to make money on your money. And that's what this program is about. The information, the people I bring up here, is to give us information from the professionals on how to, for me, and I know everybody else, we want to make more money on our money. So we have to learn these little things, but I say do your due diligence. I'm bringing these people on board to give you information, but I want you to go back and research everything you hear. I take, nothing for face value. So I love listening to the experts, and I love people that's already doing it. So that's why I bring on these people. And today I'm going to bring on Mr. Chris Robles, and he's a consummate professional. He's been in the industry for years doing commercial and business lending. And the reason I brought him on, because I get a lot of people asking me questions about lending, and I don't want to give the wrong information. So let's go to the professionals, and this is for business owners and real estate professionals as well. I know we desperately need funding for the different deals we have out. I'm definitely going to go back and forth with Mr. Robles and ask him some general questions so we can get this off and running. Mr. Robles, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Charles. How are you? Good to be on.
Great. I'm great. I'm so glad that you have an opportunity to take a few minutes of your time, and let's talk business, and let's talk funding, and in general, so people understand who they're talking to or who they're listening to. What's your background?
Yeah. So I've been in the industry, in the finance industry, for over 20 years in finance. In business lending, I've been doing this for about over 11 years. I own CRA Capital. We're a commercial and business lending. I've been involved with SBA for quite some time. I've done some micro lending as well. Work with other entities as well, credit unions. So I have a vast background, and I've done many loans over the years. And I want to just relate some information to the folks you have on, so they can learn a little bit of what it takes to get some funding and know about the programs that are out there that a lot of folks may not know about.
Okay.
And this is across the board.
Okay, great. Well, I don't know the level of people that I have and the knowledge that they have. So can you break down a little bit, when you say SBA, break down the acronym and what it actually does as far as resources is concerned?
Yes, definitely. So the SBA is Small Business Administration. This is an entity that the government has that works along with a lot of lenders that provides a guarantee for the lenders. Not a lot of entities do SBA, but the ones that do, get great benefit from it, because they're basically guaranteed if something happens to the note back by the SBA. If there's say a business goes out of business, something happens there, so they get their money back, a percentage of what they lend out. So it's a great product. It is more information that the borrower has to give, but it's a great vehicle also for startup businesses. There are entities across the U.S. And just to tell the folks here who are listening to you right now, they can reach out to the local. It's state-funded, government-funded SBA offices that each state has. each state will have a list of preferred lenders in their areas. So we'll talk a little bit about what micro lending is. We'll talk about some other programs that the SBA has and the ones that we work on a regular basis.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I want to look at the different types of loans and places you can get them because you bring up the SBA. We know there's banks, and then you brought up microloans. Can you break that down?
Yeah, so basically a micro loan, it's established for small businesses who are basically starting up. These are also businesses that basically fall below the bank guidelines. So these are basically there are SBA funds available through nonprofits, and these nonprofits are basically in every state in the U.S. These are entities that kind of work hand in hand with where there's a minority owner, veterans. So it's a very good program for folks who need a little bit of a, I guess, hand up in their dealings as they open up a business or they're growing. Okay, usually a micro loan it's no more than $50,000 that they can borrow. There are larger loans through the SBA, but this one in particular is for small businesses that need that, like I said earlier, that hand up in helping them kind of establish their business, and that is called a microloan program. And like I mentioned earlier, each state will have an SBA office that you guys can contact, and they'll give you a list of those lenders. So just kind of keep that in mind, who help with small businesses.
I like that because I never knew. I went to the SBA myself and got some training and stuff like that. I didn't know they had a list of lenders. So that's something I'm going to on. And I lead that in to say I see a lot of people out there saying that they can give loans, whether it's private or through some type of company. So what are some qualifications we should look for as a person going out to look for loans? What should we be looking for to make sure they're legit?
Of course. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, everybody knows their banks in their communities, credit unions. They also do business loans. Of course, everybody will reach out to their local bank to kind of see what they can do. Usually, banks don't work with startup businesses, but it's always good to have a business account, checking account with the bank, because that'll be a requirement that any lender will have. Once you create a DBA or you get an LLC or you get incorporated, of course you need to open up a business account. That's very important. The business is key. The business account as you start your business, because as you're making revenue with your business and you're kind of running your deposits and withdrawals with your business, that creates history. And that's kind of key as your business is growing of the information that a lender will kind of look at. So we all know that the banks are out there. Credit unions are also a good vehicle that people can reach out to. Some of them do startup loans and some do not. And then you go to the nonprofit lenders. These are the lenders that we talked about that do work with startup businesses on a regular basis. And these are the folks or entities, lending entities that do help folks who fall below bank guidelines at a small level. The key to them is making sure that these entities are able to report your payment history. That's very important as you're kind of growing, because that's going to help you elevate you to the next level, which is either a credit union or a bank. So that's very important to kind of figure out or find out if this nonprofit lending entity does report your payments. That's very important as you're growing.
Okay, let's talk about the cost of money. And you talked about banks, micro loans as well. just from you going out, where would you rather go? To a bank, a credit union, a community bank, a microloan? And looking at the cost of money, I'm looking at the interest rate on how much I have to pay back.
Correct. And actually, just based on the cost of money, of course, every lending institution, whether banks or credit unions, have an edge for a particular type of industry that they want to lend to. Okay. One that is I always kind of reach out to, and I tell my clients to talk to, are your credit unions. Credit unions operate a little bit different than the banks. They have very flexible rates. Interest rates are also favorable as well. So I mean, to me, a credit union it's a vehicle that can help you in getting to the next level. Once you go through that nonprofit lender, that would be the next step. And of course, as your business grows, once you incorporate, of course, you go into the bank. But as you're growing, from working with a nonprofit community lender, going to a credit union, and then eventually end up with a bank.
Got you. What type of businesses actually can qualify for these loans?
Are we talking about the microloans? Or are we talking about
for microloans? Can somebody with a lawn care business qualify for these microloans, or a real estate business?
Yeah. So these microloans are basically it could be somebody who's starting a cleaning service. Somebody, just like you said, a lawn landscaping business. Maybe somebody starting a retail repair shop. So it kind of varies, but the key is, and as we all know, credit is looked at every level. Okay, anything that is below a 580 needs to get over 600. The banks, I can tell you, the banks, if you don't have a 680 or better, they really can't really assist. So when it comes to borrowing, credit, as we all know, is very important, and your credit score. Okay. The other aspect is you need to have the ability to make the payment. So give you like an example, as a startup business, in order to get a loan, there has to be income coming in from another source besides the business, because it hasn't started yet. So they require an outside source of income, whether there's somebody is working on a part-time job or full-time job, or they can also bring in a spouse can help you as you start your business. So when we talk about starting a business, what is very important for every entity to have, every business that is starting out, is a business plan. And I talk about a business plan because almost every university in the U.S. Will have some sort of small business development center. And not too many people know about this, but there are business advisors, and they're professional advisors. They can assist you with a business plan at no cost. Everybody hears that you can get a business plan. Somebody can kind of do one for you, but it's best for you to kind of work with a professional that will kind of help you as you're building that business plan. That business plan is vital when it comes to a startup business, and the lender will always look at a business plan as well as your credit and your ability to repay. That is very important, and I can tell you from experience, I used to be a business advisor myself in Austin, and many people that came to us looking to start a business, we helped them through their process. I started a business plan, and that's very important. I just kind of keep that in mind. That is something vital as your business is growing.
Okay, let's do this one. I want to go back for a second to say somebody just started a business, but say they have a 720 credit score, nothing else really, no money coming in. How would they start to get funding? What would be some of the steps that they could take?
Yeah, so the key, if there's no money coming in yet, there has to be a source of income coming in, because when you're trying to qualify for a business loan, there has to be an outside source. And I can tell you, you are considered a startup business all the way up to 2 years. That's how you consider it. So you can bring in a partner, even though, say, there's no income coming in, but you got a partner who does have a full-time job and has decent credit as well. You bring him in. The key is with a partner is anyone who has 20% or more of ownership in the business has to be on the application. Okay, there's no way around that. If you don't want somebody to be on the application, then you kind of change your business structure. Could be 90% 10, 85 15. Just keep in mind that the lenders will be asking for all the business owners that own 20% or more will be on the application. And you mentioned somebody having a 720. That's a great score, but also they require some sort of collateral to back up that loan request. Unless they go with the SBA, you don't have to have too much like collateral to take on that debt if you go SBA. But as your business is growing, you will need to have some sort of collateral to back up the note. The sources of collateral, of course, vehicles free and clear, anything that has a VIN number or some sort of like a machine that has some sort of VIN number on it that has the value. As we all know, items depreciate quickly, so the more collateral you can provide, the better. Of course, you can use real estate as collateral as well, and for us, we specialize in real estate, no income verification, and investment financing loans. That all you need is a 650 credit score. That's another source. So let's say somebody has several properties, and they're starting a business. They have properties with equity that they could be free and clear. That's another source they can use to get some cash out to start their business. And we can talk about that a little bit further down, but that's just another source.
Okay. This is the one thing I see out there as far as real estate is concerned. A lot of people looking for funding for wholesaling, for flips, for a little bit of everything. So I see a lot of different people. They're not really tying their companies to it, but they're saying, I have money and I need you to send me, $3,000, and then I can send you this money. My thing is their qualification for a loan, a place that gives loans, like the certifications, the rate sheets. Can you speak on that?
Yes. So of course, the certifications and rate sheets will kind of vary per lender. Most of the loans, and just keep in mind, most of the loans that consist of real estate will be closed. Make sure that they are being closed at a title company. That's a big sign. If they're not, then it's not a viable loan. Just make sure of that. Make sure that that the group, it's able to provide you with a term sheet. You get a pre-approval, we call it CLA, a conditional loan approval. We'll have seen those with mortgages, if you have a mortgage. So it's kind of key because, and then usually they'll ask you, of course, for some of them will ask you for tax returns, some will ask you for personal financial statement, copies of bank statements, and that's kind of the norm. When it comes to commercial refinancing cash out, it's a little bit different than your regular mortgage, just because you're talking about an investment property, and an investment property, as long as it's got equity, you might not require to provide that much information, whether it's income or tax returns, because we're talking about an entity that is not your primary residence. So it's one of the forms that you can get some cash out, without too many documentation.
Okay. This is I want to go over a scenario with you, and I'm just going to give it to you, and then you give me your best advice that you can give me for the different topic I'm going to give you, or the information I'm going to give you. So what it boils down to right now, down in South Carolina, there's some land down there, and we're looking to build out an independent/assisted living facility. And what that build out is going to be, it's a new construction and everything like that. We have some funding in place. Definitely going to be looking for more funding and looking at the interest rate we can get the funding for. So can you give me your different products that you may be able to, I know it's going to be pretty basic what I just gave you, but could you give me some different products that we could actually look at to fund that project?
Yes, and one of them that I want to mention, because I'm working on a couple of projects like that. It's basically it's with the SBA preferred lender, one that kind of works across the U.S. So the key with this particular project is, of course, having the plans, having the architecture, having the permits is kind of key. The lender, any lender will be asking for history of the individuals who are going into this business. Do they have the background? Do they have the experience? Have they done this before? Is this something that is new to them? Give you like an idea. So if you're bringing in somebody that has the experience with you as a business partner, that's kind of key. So there will be a construction budget. Is very important as you're starting to build, because you're basically starting from scratch. The key is owning the land, because it gives you instant equity of the value of the property, basically of the land or the parcel that you purchase. That kind of helps you with the loan to value as you're building the facility. Another key is you're going to be owner occupying, meaning that are you going to occupy this property as a business entity, or are you kind of building it for somebody else to occupy? So if you're going to occupy it as a business entity, the SBA will be a good vehicle, because SBA only does owner occupied businesses or loan programs, as long as you're occupying this property over 50% of it. If it's an entity that you're going into it 100%, that you're going to operate it, then you'll be fine. But there are others that use kind of mixed use. Say they build a shopping center or a strip center, and they're going to occupy 50% or over 51% of that shopping center, viable for SBA. So it works for the SBA. If you're only going to occupy 20%, then you have to go the conventional route, and banking industry, credit union will be another source that you can use. If that helps, Charles.
That does help, because we're definitely, like I said, we have a couple different directions we're going to take it, but I like to look at all the different possibilities, put them on the table, and then we pick and choose. And I'm glad you answered the question, because I have about 5 people that's working with me, and we're forming this entity, and I was wondering how that's going to work with all of us being, there's not just one person putting in the loan. It's going to be an entity saying this is what we're looking for, and seeing how we get funding from that.
Correct.
the reason I wanted to speak with you, Chris, is because you're in the trenches and you've actually done real estate deals. You've actually done deals using funding. You already was doing the business side of things, showing people the SBA side of things. So let me ask you this from me to you. What are some of the things you're doing right now that you're using to fund, using the funding sources of, some of the projects that you have?
Yeah, so I'm definitely using the SBA. It's called the SBA 7A, which talked about the a construction deal. I'm actually doing an entity who builds pools, right? So they own the property, and they're gonna build about 4 warehouses on this property. So we were able to get them approved because they're gonna occupy more than 80% of these warehouses. That's one. I'm also working on a hotel with a flag who is under construction. And of course, I can go SBA or conventional. There is a difference with the SBA on the loan to value and conventional as well. Rule of thumb is usually 20% down across the board when you're looking to borrow from an entity like a bank or even the SBA. The SBA will give you a higher loan to value, up to 85, as opposed to a bank who will give you 80%. And of course, so basically you got to come in with 15% down as opposed to 20% or more from the banking industry. I'm also working on basically asset-based. So we specialize in asset-based lending. What that is if you own a commercial investment property that has equity, okay, you can borrow up to 65% of the loan to value minus your balance at reasonable rates. This is not credit driven, just because it's commercial property. So it's based on the asset and the ability to repay the note. I'm working with a medical group who's looking for funding to get cash out to do more projects. So we got this deal pre-approved for about 1.9. They have a balance, let's say about 700,000. So they're getting close to $1 million here to work on other projects. They're able to get this cash out. We're basically based on the asset. We also work with, like I said earlier, no income verification on investment properties or refinancing. As long as you have a 650 credit score, we can go up to 75 loan to value on the property. Amounts start at 75,000, all the way up to $5 million. And this is basically, as long as you have the 650 credit score, that's the kind of key, because it's an investment property. So, we can do 1 to 4 single family, multifamily, mixed use, office, retail, and self-storage. And for any of you folks, as you know, the fix and flip of the single family is kind of big across the U.S. now. So we have a product. It's basically based on your credit score. If you have a 650 or better, like I said before, you can come in with 30% down, which is a 70% loan to value, to either purchase or get a cash out on the property that's a single family. These are good products, very flexible and reasonable rates, and of course it's based on a case-by-case basis. But these are the deals that we work on a regular basis. But we also do equipment loans, Of course, we talk about the SBA loan, so we do business cash advance. We have lines of credit and factoring. I'll mention this real quick. So factoring is based on a receivable that you may have that acts as your collateral. So for example, if we have a trucking company who just landed a bid with a major corporation to do certain jobs, and they have a contract. That contract, but they're going to get paid in, let's say, 30 days or 45 days. That's where factoring comes in, where you can get some money up front for your operation. When you get paid by that vendor, that's when the factoring company gets paid. That's another way of getting funds quicker than later.
Got you. I'm glad you went into that. I want to ask the question of throw it out there, and you give me your best advice. So from a business perspective, or looking at it from the business angle, you have somebody that doesn't have any credit or any money. Would you say they should do, even outside of trying to get business funding, what are some steps they can take to move their business along so they can get to a point to where they can access the funds? Yeah.
So the key to start where you don't have any credit is to get started with credit. I've basically to get started with any credit, you can get a prepaid credit card that you can kind of borrow against your own money to kind of start building. You can get that with several entities until you're able to kind of borrow some money yourself, so you can establish credit. That's kind of key. The other thing is obtaining some sort of collateral that has value that you can use when it comes to borrowing money. It can be a vehicle that is free and clear, that has value, no more than 10 years old, and kind of building that as well. One vital thing as well, as you said, is a business plan. A business plan is very important as you're starting your business because it gives you the roadmap. It gives you the guideline on how you're going to get to the next level. And there are resources out there, like I mentioned, through a lot of universities across the U.S. that can assist you. There are business advisors that will not charge you to help you with that process. Okay? So, bottom line is getting started. One of the other major keys that I want to mention is having the experience and the knowledge in the business you're getting into. If you don't have the experience in it and you want to get into that industry, volunteer, work part-time, learn that business as much as you can. Doesn't mean that you cannot hire somebody in that can do the job or do the business, but you need to know the ins and outs before you get into it. And you'd be surprised, so many folks that I've talked to in the past who want to get into an industry but don't have any knowledge or experience. And the key is having that knowledge, having that experience, and, of course, a passion to do that business.
Got you. Now, let me throw it your way to anything else that as far as your information, I want you to add that as well, or anything that you want to, as far as a parting shot to everybody out there that's listening about business funding and, how they can get in contact with you if they want to get some more information and that type of stuff.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to talk to anybody one-on-one. As we know, everything is on a case-by-case basis. So again, my name is Chris Robles. I am with CRA Capital. We're a commercial and business lender. My phone number is 210-527-7861. My email address is cracapitaloans@gmail.com. Like I said, no question is off limits. I'll be happy to assist anybody that just has any general question about how to get started, how to get to the next level. But remember, everything's on a case by case basis, so every situation is different. And Myself coming from a nonprofit world, when I first started, I started in micro lending, and that kind of never goes away. So my doors are always open for any questions, and we'll be here to support.
Well, sir, I do want to thank you for your time. I definitely have to get you back on in the future. As time goes on, I'm going to go through a lot of different subjects, and this is one of those subjects that everybody doesn't necessarily know about, but we all need.
Excellent. Well, thanks for having me on, Charles. I really appreciate it, and I hope that the information was helpful. And like I said, we're here to support and just, carry on. Just
definitely.
A way.
Thank you. I have to, I'm going to definitely be reaching out to you as well because I'm looking at different options on what I'm doing. So thank you.
Excellent. Thanks a lot.
Okay. So everybody else that's on right now, I'm going to go back over. I'm going to do it a little slower this time. The rule of 72, and this is how I look at money. And this is just something that, you kind of need to look at as well, is just the percentage of money your money is making. So most of you have money in the banks, and that's about, 0.5%, if that. The banks are not really trying to give you a lot of money. So your money is not really making money when you look at inflation being whatever it's going to be, 4%, 5%, 6%, whatever it is. Your money is not really making money. So the rule of 72 looks at it this way, and I'm just going to use $1, but you can use any number you want. So I'm going to say you're making 12% on your money. Let's say you have it in the stock market, you're making 12% on your money right now. You take the number 72 and you divide that by the 12. You don't have to do the 12%. You divide it by the 12, and that comes up with your $1 turns into $2. So that really shows me that we're not really making money because we don't really know how to invest. And I hear this a lot. I hear people have these great credit scores. Just heard somebody had an 810 credit score. Great score. But if you're not utilizing the money and the access to the different resources because you have an 810, then you might as well have a 400 credit score. I'm just being honest. If you have a house that's free and clear, let's say your house is $310,000 right now, and it's free and clear, meaning that you don't have to make any more payments on the note because it's paid off, and that's right now it's 33% across the country, houses are paid off. If you have a house in your name right now, it shouldn't be in your name, but anyway, if you have a house in your name that's paid off, and you have access to $310,000, this is how I break it down. Now, you look at 9 times out of 10, I'm going to go high on this and say 4%. You probably had a note when you were paying, a lot of people paying 4%. So if you're paying 4% for that note right there, if you can take that same amount of money, I don't care if it's $100,000, and you can make 10% on that money, would it be worth it? Because if you only have to pay that 4%, and you're making an extra 15% on your money, why would you not want to invest? So a lot of people right now are trying to save, but we're saving in banks. And like I said, 0.5% is not saving, but, we're assumed to be saving, and that's just what it is. The cost of money, it costs more over time. So $20 today is not going to be the same 10 years from now. And so the cost of money over time is going to, it's going to depreciate, and that's just what it happens. So we have to look at investment vehicles. I'm just throwing that out there because I see it so much. And the two things, as I brought up, your credit score and your house is free and clear, that you have money that you're not utilizing. Some banks out there, you can get this money for 0% at 6 months. So you can actually use money, and I call it free money, for 6 months, but a lot of us are not utilizing it. It is what it is. Life goes on. Knowing is better, but doing something about it is even better. I'm going to use a word that's not even a word. Better. Anyway, allowing me to come on here and show people a little something different. I'm pulling the experts in every Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're talking about Elation Radio, Elation Magazine, soon to be Elation TV. They're doing great things. And I'm going to pray us out. Father God, thank you for allowing me to bless the people. Thank you for those who got on the call and those who couldn't make it. We honor you, and we know that everything begins and ends with you. See to those who's going through the struggle and continue to bless the many. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank y'all for getting on. Charles McCutchen, I'm out. Favorite entrepreneur.
Father God, King David said, though I make my bed in hell, you're with me. Father, I just want to say thank you for always being with me and for never letting me go.
He never let me go, never let me go. Even if I run from the sun and say no. And if I go, make my bed in hell, with me he'll be right there. And he never let me go, never let me go. Even if I ran from his plan and said no. He reached down low, picked me up out of the dirt, and then he loved away all of my hurt. He never let me down in the South long time ago. I believe I must have been around 9 years old. That was the year I got saved. My 5th grade teacher, Mr. How Can I Pray? Jesus came to stay in my heart, and he led me into the light right out of the dark. Gave me a new start and a lease on life. Gave me a new name with fame and a wife. Gave me everything I was dreaming of. See, he's my heavenly father, and with me he's in love. And it's a shame over half of my life I was living in sin and giving in the strife. I was out at night drinking and using drugs, in the streets ducking the police. I was a thug. But because of his blood, he had mercy on my soul, and he never, ever let me go, never let me go. Even if I run from the sun and say no. And if I go, make my bed in hell, with me he'll be right there. And he never let me go, never let me go. Even if I ran from his plan and said no. He reached down low, picked me up out of the dirt, and then he loved away all of my hurt. And see, he never let me go. The story about the prodigal son, and on the mic right now is a real live one. And from what I've done, I should have passed on. Disappeared out of here, been long gone. But I'm still walking on this earth, cause the Lord God called me from before my birth. And he ordained me a prophet, and ain't no devil in hell never ever gonna stop it. If God said it, he'll bring it to pass. And I'm breaking the devil's kingdom up just like glass. That's what he get for attacking me. He used to be real good at distracting me. Now he's under my feet, laying flat, you see, cause I'm trusting in that man from Galilee. If Jesus said it, then I know that it's so. I'm in the palm of his hand and understand he never let me go, never let me go. Even if I run from the sun and say no. And if I go,